Thank you first and foremost for taking the time out to be present with me. Before we start this, let's take a second to breathe in, get in line with each other in this vibration. Let's give ourselves 2 more deep breaths. And in unison. Much love once again. I want to thank everybody once again for taking your time to be present in this moment with me. Recently I've been feeling this urge on my heart to begin to express not only what I feel inside and what I've seen is going on, maybe from an inside perspective, but also from an experience of a lot of people are feeling imbalanced or lost, or if you didn't know how to implement your time so freely in these moments and times, you don't know how, and so a lot of things come up, past pains, traumas. There's a lot of healing and moving forward and jumping forward and becoming more than you knew you would ever be, right? And it's getting past that false fear of inadequacy, and then really realizing that we know that it's that we can do so much more, and that's what kind of scares us. The potentiality that we really are infinite, that we really are something more than just the mundane man. And this comes even if you are just living regular old life, if you're woke or not. Everybody's going through some type of ascension and awakening, some type of knowing who you are, or having to do that face-to-face of rocking the hard place, and then here's a mirror. Look, reflect, introspect. I have a very beautiful light worker cousin who recently just started coming out and sharing her journey, and what it did was it really incited me and inspired me to begin to do this again, to record and to speak my mind, speak my soul, more so, because in these times that I'm seeing people are feeling imbalanced, and I'm feeling that same imbalance of its past, and I know how to get through it, or I am getting through it, or even the connection of 2 people who are able to and want to rise, coming and coexisting and doing so. I realized that a lot of in healing and dealing with my pains and my traumas from sexual molestation, from violent upbringings, and not in the sense of a gang mentality, but a traumatic family cycle of hereditary slave mentality of the lineage from one to another to another. Honestly, it's the weirdest thing in the world. I had a lot of male role model figures, and I would say because of the traumas that I was going through, because of what was also the family culture and the culture of the Native African American, now, right? We're Native African Americans, or the Black culture. We don't really look at a lot of things or pay attention. Because it comes with that acknowledging of some of our own past traumas and things that happened to the older generations that we would hope to snuff out. So there's more of a blind eye to certain things. And also I've learned too that sometimes some men can't raise another man's child, and then also from the child's perspective of really wanting that picture perfect life that you've seen on Disney or on Nickelodeon or different TV shows where you had both parents at your home, and we in this generation grow up in these split homes and these broken families, they call it. I don't understand why they call that, and I'll explain why, but we grow up in these quote unquote broken homes or split families, and so it's become sort of a norm in our generation. But as children, as innocent pure beings who don't really see things from the hurt emotions or the dramas or the intricacies that our parents had to deal with, and we didn't find out till now, or growing up into our own cycle of relationships that really test your mettle, because we're not ready, and we're all trying to vicariously live through each other or through someone else, someone that we admire, we look up to, and a lot of it was ignoring our traumas, which in turn is why I feel like it was ignored when it came to or not ignored, but just not seen. In this age when trauma is so prevalent, where people being hurt and hurting people is the chaotic order in the norm, the social norm, where if we look at things like social injustices or civil rights, that nothing to actually solve the black cause has actually been done, but it's been the efforts to move from cause to cause, because it's something that is profitable, and because people will pay to be a part of something. People will fight to be a part of something, but they will probably keep on fighting another cause so they don't have to keep closing and dealing with things and actually ending cycles of pain and trauma, because that's what we're in right now. I got this after reading the Celestine prophecies, but us as human beings now, energetic beings, but we only dwell or live. We live, I say dwell because it's more of staying in a lower vibration, dwelling, being under, in the lower vibration of the 3D, but we're energetic beings of higher capacity, 4, 5 dimensional beings. For some of us at our base, we're 5-dimensional beings, but because we live in 3-dimensional worlds, we eat in 3-dimensional manners, we don't feed the body the crystallized photons, which some would call being vegan, or from that come from the sun, right? The crystallized photons that come from the sun that we eat the plants for. The same reason why the animals eat the plants, who are fumivorous or herbivorous or even omnivorous, right? They go to the main source, and that's what the plants and the chlorophyll does for us. So if we were thinking about eating to live and being on a higher dimensional plane, right? Like, a lot of us do not live to our mental capacity, and this is why our minds do not work to mental capacity. Our hearts and our emotions do not work to their capacity and their maximum. And that is because when you have so much mucus or built up negative energy or lower vibrational hindrances in your life, obstacles, distractions, whatever they are, your traumas, not healing through them, not asking for help. So we have that as a culture, in being a child and seeing how, and you're aware you have a father figure, but you do not have a father. You don't have anyone to really cling to, and having to accept that this is someone else's personal battle, or having a mother who does all she can and works. And I had 2 amazing parents. Don't get me wrong, 2 amazing parents. I love them to death. They did the best they could for me and for all the children that they helped out. I had 2 beautiful parents who did a lot for communities, people, families, homes. Just really cared about helping and making sure that others didn't have to struggle and face the environment they faced when they grew up in their youth and throughout their lives. And I feel like that was a message that they definitely taught and instilled in me. And that lesson came from survival in this, and even where I feel like the disconnect of not being able to raise a male child or connect with a male child, or even the excuse of not being able to have actual familiar connections in our cultures, or healthy ones, instead of a familiar culture that is based on slavery or ownership, or if I created you or not. That's a very difficult pill to swallow, I feel, for a lot of us. And when we start looking at our actions and the way we live, and it gets back to that, we being energetic beings, our words are our energy, right? And our words and agreements that we have, in which we live by, and what we say we're going to do, like, these are all energies that stick with us. And if we live by them, well, then we fulfill the energy, and it is transformed to something greater, or transmuted to something greater. And if it is not kept and hold still, then we get a negative feeling, a negative vibration to that energy, right? It's very simple, right? Well, if we're all living in this chaos, if we're all afraid to face our traumas, and then we get put in a situation like this where we have to sit and face them, it brings one to show up. It brings one to see how much more and how much capable you are. Because when you work through these traumas, the molestation, the violence, the self-inflicted suffering, that spins the wheel of karma and dharma so viciously against you, but it's really your own doing, you know? When we have these actions in life that create these unforgettable moments for us, and they create this guilt, they create this fear, this instability to be in even our own form, to love ourselves, to say that our core being is something that deserves love, or is deserving of its true omnipotent nature. When we do not heal those things, or we are living parallel to them without truly acknowledging them or facing them, we leave ourselves in a disadvantage for human connectivity. We leave ourselves at a disadvantage to have those self-love boundaries. And I feel this is a lot of what is going on. We're seeing that in the time that you actually have to, when you get out of the fake matrix, the 9-to-5 grind, the the capitalist F you pay me system, when you have to be the dreamer and the realist at the same time. And this is what a lot of artists have faced, and a lot of people who live in the spiritual communities, or people who they say they live abstract lives, right? Not concrete lives. This is the kind of life you have when you're not held on by the 12-hour clock, but you have 24 hours in every day. Then you have 7 days in whatever construct week. Then you have a whole month, and you have a whole year at that. Matter of fact, I have an endless life to do everything I need. I can slow down and take the time. Now that I'm slowing down, what really bothers me? Then we start being busier and busier, and doing things to stay busy, doing things to keep us locked down and in our comfortable zone, in those negative environments that those negative habits that also keep us safe. I think it'd be really easy to just ignore what's going on and happen in your life for you right now. I think it'd be really easy to, as hard as it is too, this is the thing, as hard as it is, it'd be really easy to say, you know what, I am not going to deal with, my mother and my father issues. I am not going to deal with the fact that I cannot keep a job. I'm not going to deal with the fact that I'm afraid to live my dream. I am not going to deal with the fact that every time I go to a school, I get social anxiety, and I do not want to be around people anymore, and I want to quit. Then I do. I don't want to deal with all these things. I don't want to deal with the sexual molestation. I don't want to deal with how every relationship is ended because I do not know how to love. Because, well, when I think of love, that image of what happened to me as a child comes, and I feel that love needs to be barbaric. Love needs to be chaotic. Love isn't love unless you're hurting someone. Then I feel crazy. I feel all the different psychoses that, you can prescribe to somebody, or has been prescribed to me. But that's heavy, and I don't want to deal with it. But if I didn't take these 2 weeks, three weeks, however long, I don't even know how long we've been here. We're crazy, right? Just kidding. No, I really just don't know how long we've been here. However long we've been here, we take this time. If I didn't deal with these issues, if I didn't deal with how these past things were affecting me and keeping me from moving forward, I wouldn't be able to say, hey, you know what? I want now in my life a love and a relationship with myself that I was seeking with everyone, and I kept pushing out and pushing off that love, and I was like, yo, this is intense, right? You love this shit. This is what real love is. But it's not. That's my pains. Those are my traumas, and I'm overcompensating so that you could overcompensate too, and I could forget that I'm in pain. But that's not how things work, right? I want to love myself so endlessly that if I need to cry, I'm going to cry. I want to love myself so endlessly that if I feel like I don't belong somewhere or in a group or an environment that doesn't serve me, I'm okay with walking away because it does not serve me. I'm glad I had the experience. I want to love myself so much that I follow my dream, and I never look back. I don't even know what looking back is, you know what I mean? Like, pillow of salt, what? If you read the Bible, you will get that. If you didn't, look up Lot and his wife. Anyway, I want to love myself, that I can just be myself in any format, in any way, in any shape that I choose to be in. As long as I'm not hurting anybody, as long as I'm bringing something to the table that is positive to others, as long as my thoughts are positive, my actions are positive, on a higher vibration than they were the moment before. It's not that I'm going to sweat myself. I love myself, so hey, I give myself a break. But I know I'm going to move forward. I know I'm going to take action. Not only in the right place, but where I need to be. I want to have a relationship that is built on trust, love, and not on how much we connect through our pains and our traumas and codependently hurt each other or love each other. I never really learned too much about what really love is and why these moments are important to spend with someone, to take the time to look someone in the eye, not say anything, to be able to just, vibe out, have a conversation that's purely positive, to not judge someone, to be with someone who makes you not judge someone else and makes you go, you know what? Let's talk about everything that's good. That's what I want to create, right? And I want to have a relationship that shows other people that you don't have to have. You can be, if we chose to be with multiple people, we would do that, but you could be with one person and you could be okay. Now, it's no judgment to whoever in your life is polyamorous or not. We all have, our own swing of things. But when you find out what you want, you stop doing things that don't serve you. Like, I know that I don't like drinking, so I'm not gonna go drink because I'm low and I don't have weed, or I can't get weed, or hey, you know what, weed is dope, but I know it's not gonna do it right now. I'm not gonna go do something like that so I don't have to feel. I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna fill it out. I'm gonna work through it, because whoever it is, this wife that I want, or this goddess that I want, this queen that I want in my life, who there is no possession, but it's a unison companionship of love, right? Hero Gamos, the sacred divine love. Whoever that is, right now I need to be that person. Not just for them, but for me. Because if they're coming in my life and I got a vibration I'm gonna follow, if this work, if this career, if this dream is gonna be in my life and I got a path to follow, a vibration to stand at, why would I go underneath it, knowing how much that has caused me pain before? Why would I even make a choice that goes against it? Why, if it does not expand, if I'm not thinking consciously, does this expand or not? Does this bring me joy or not? Does this bring people around me joy or not? How big is this footprint that I'm leaving? If I'm not thinking about that, if I'm not contemplating it, if I'm not bringing that into action, and knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing, then I probably should not be doing it. I probably need to be sitting down and contemplating in meditation, slowing down, asking the universe, hey, I need some guidance. What is it that I'm not seeing that you're bringing to the table? And I'm letting slide right under my nose. Most of our issues can be solved because we are able to consciously deal with them logically and emotionally. And then we figure out how, what course of action is needed to respond to the healthy boundaries we have. If we don't have that, if we're not working off the parasympathetic nervous system, if we're not working off of logic and emotion, and we're working off fight and fear and flight, fight or flight, excuse me, and the sympathetic nervous system, because of our traumas, because of our pains, because of our anxieties, because of our bipolarness, because of our schizophrenia. I'd like to add, and this isn't I would like people to start researching things more deeply, the knowledge of the world, the entire world, and past the limitations of the U.S. school system or any other school system. I want you to dig deep. I want you to get deep. Get occult, and it means secret, not satanic. Occult means secret, right? I want you to get deeper, because if you look up and study, one, people know Dr. Sebi, but another man named Arnold Ehret. This man, he wasn't really a doctor or anything, but he was just a man who studied, a homemade scientist who studied nutrition and the mucusless diet, even before Dr. Sebi, right? This is I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think it's the 30s, 1930s possibly. I'll come back with the right information. But Arnold Ehret had this mucusless diet and a structure of fasting implemented with it, with intermittent fasting techniques, and then also 3-day fasting techniques. Also a way to tell when you are fasting on your tongue, the white you get on your tongue, when you fast, and you can tell. I just finished a 3-day fast. The white that's on your tongue, the thickness, right now, is how much mucus is in your body. And so by clearing out, the 3-day fast would initially tell you, how much mucus is in your body. If you're wondering how this is attributing to traumas, it'll connect. Right? So Dr. Arnold Ehret, I believe it was Dr. Arnold Ehret, anyway, what he did and what he found is in giving someone who had a psychosis, a mental illness, this same regimen, 3-day fasting, keeping them on only fluids of water and certain foods that held a high alkaline pH level, he would find that in the 3 days first, and then afterwards with the higher implementation, because it's all individualized based. There's no such thing as a diet that fits all. Everybody is different. Literally, everybody is different. Bars. Arnold Ehret found that you could cure the psychosis. It comes to healthy eating. I want you to think about what we feed ourselves, what we feed our children, and then what we feed others. And this is for those who aren't conscious of your energy, your body, the inner workings of nature, the inner workings of how health and your mental health and your spiritual health are all connected, right? These people's minds were able to become cured because they were feeding the body the positive. Giving this physical the positive was able to help the mental plane, which in turn cures and blesses and allows connection with the spiritual plane. And this is just energy. It's literally, it's seeing that it has nothing to do with a religion, an aspect of belief, an aspect of faith, an aspect of superstition. This is what you see as fact. This is your Fibonacci sequence. This is your golden ratio. This is the fact that the human body is so masterly crafted by some type of amazing creator, some geneticist, somebody who can, an alchemist, something so much vaster than that. Like, I'm using these words I cannot equate to what small fragment we are and where we come from. But when we decide to treat these vessels, these minds, and these spirits as if they are something that deserve to be loved, healing the traumas, getting over the egotistical hindrances and obstacles that hold you back, following your path, knowing where you truly belong and where you don't, living and loving still with respect and line, but never allowing a certain line to be crossed, right? We all must understand what balance is and the moderation is, and why it's so important to not compartmentalize, but take care of every faction of our life and treat things with an honor and a respect that we haven't really done before. We do it in certain aspects. If you ever take a look at how you may treat one thing and you treat it pleasantly because of how it acts, but then the next thing you would treat it maybe in a certain disdain, or not even a disdain, but you just treat it differently because of how it is. But what you don't look at is it's the same exact thing as that other thing. It does the same thing, or maybe in a different motive. Maybe it's like salt and pepper, right? But they're both seasonings. You just say, you go, I don't like salt because it's a seasoning, but you eat pepper on your food, and you like pepper. The truth is that you're able to accept one thing for what it is because you have an affinity for it, but you're not able to accept the other. It's just like with our shadow work, with our pains and our traumas and our even our dreams. You'll accept not doing anything, even though you really want to, because There's the fear of, are you gonna make it? What happens if you do make it? And if I do make it and everybody's dependent on me, can I keep it up? We don't trust the higher self. We don't have faith in the unknown. And I won't say it so adamantly. I think that we all do. I think we all work for it and we try. And everyday trials and tribulations, they take us out of a zone. They take us out of a place of feeling safe and feeling our omnipotence. That we can do anything and accomplish anything. That we were created for a purpose and with a purpose, and that we're going to fulfill it no matter what happens. So if you can, take the time. Take time to meditate. Take the time to go out in nature. Like, real talk, I'm feeling my my Otis Redding vibes, right? Sitting on the dock of a bay, watching the tide roll away. Well, time roll away. Is it time or tide? If it's tide or time, if you know, let me know. And this will check me in if you've been here. Oh man. But no, yeah, you guys, there's so much for us to accomplish, you know, and that we can accomplish. Like, do not let what's going on now, do not let the mirage and the illusion of, you know, whether it's martial law, whether it's the economy drops and their sickness goes away and everybody's good and we're able to like just go back to some type of norm, but we have to figure out how to rebuild. Do not be afraid. One, if it comes to it, you're going to survive. Do not be afraid. Do not even do not go for a martial law. Don't. Like, your future is more important. Your future isn't just you. Your future is those who are not in your bloodline, but that get to live after you. You know? Don't do that. This, like, if you look at things and pay attention, everything's fishy. So don't have no fear. Don't prescribe to it. And this is the thing. It's flooding us. It's overwhelming us every single day. I got this alarm on here, and when it gets, it goes, hey Jeffrey, it's this time, it's this weather, it's this and this, and then it goes like, and here's the news. Here's the most important thing, and it tells me, and every day it's something corona, right? And I've had to get into the habit of going, oh goodness, I got to swipe. Listen. What is this vibrating at? Oh, swipe. We have to begin to resonate in the truth and the knowledge that we are free and that we aren't slaves, and that no matter what happens, not if we have social security cards, bond numbers, strawman identities, we're free beings. We are born free. We will die free. We are energy. We won't even die, to be honest. We will transition into another field of existence. If you decide to upgrade and transmute, up you go, baby. In you go, actually. Brahman, Atman. Read the Upanishads. Very, very dope read. Amazing. Helps you in big ways. Anyway, we're free. So why do we need to fear? An airborne toxin that also gets you by touch, that attacks the lungs, kills you with pneumonia. 85, I don't know, I'm going to lie with the number, so I'm not going to say it, but a huge number of us are still meat eaters, are still have mucus-based bodies, and even in the vegan dietary, we have mucus-based bodies because all the soy products and if we're not eating raw, you know, if we're not taking in and cleansing. So if we're not implementing fasting and other precautions and things that if you know about and do the research about, like, everything about this is so perfect to take somebody out. This is crazy, right? No, it's not. Life goes on. And I think this is really teaching us to either be quiet and sit down and let someone tell us what we should do, or to become free thinkers, exercise our true rights, begin to wonder on a vaster scale than we have, to look into the past and see what's really gone on, look in the present and see how things are going, so that when we look into the future, we don't have anxiety or fear, but we know whatever's going on, we can shift, move, and navigate as needed. Go within, meditate, get to know yourself, get to know your wife, get to know your husband, get to know your child, get to know people in your life at a different degree than what you have been. When you are angry now at your child, take the time today in these moments and when you're home with them, not to get angry, not to get frustrated that they're doing something over and over again. Realize that just like you, they have a trauma,
Just like you, they are in search for love. Just like you, they are in search for something greater, a purpose in which nature fulfills their vital role in existence. And give them love. Give that counterpart of yours love. Give your dreams love. By acting, by intentfully thinking positive towards them. Take yourself away from the negative. Take yourself away from the shade rooms, the tea, the gossip. Take yourself away from telling someone else about how someone else is doing when you have no intent on giving love in the conversation. Speak words of wisdom. Give a love air hug. You know? Do something brilliant for somebody. There's a lot of people who in California, Florida, New York, who are homeless and probably hungry. Probably don't have the same things you do, even if we inside. You better act like Aladdin and break off some bread. And don't be like Abu. I mean, take your bite and pass it. Yeah, true. But don't think of being greedy in these moments. Right now, if you're taking the time to go outside, make sure every day you go outside, you do something positive. Every time you are experiencing this world, you are realizing you are one with nature because you are humbling yourself to see that. This is what the time is for. Not to fear, not to wonder who's going to kill us, not to wonder what is going to kill us, not to wonder if we're going to be broke. The money, it never mattered. The wealth came from the time and the happiness. The wealth came from you investing in you. So go look in the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself. Go tell your family you love them. Go sit and have a moment of creativity and coming togetherness. And see how brilliant this time is that we get to spend with each other. Spend with ourselves. If you got a business, man, get a business plan. They're opening up the floodgates for us to become free. They just put a bunch of fear in front of us to see if we're going to bite. You know what to do. You know you got it. I love every single one of y'all, man. If you don't know you are loved, I love you. With all my heart, with all my soul. I don't care if we've had beef. I don't care if we've cussed each other. I don't care if we've thrown blows. I love you. I don't care if I don't know you. I love you. Why wouldn't I? Right? Like, you one and the same. All of us, we all go through pains. We all feel joy. We all just want to be happy. I don't care if you're another race. Race don't even exist. I know that. You don't. That's you. I don't believe in such things. I hold a different faith. I know humanity is one part. It's part of a cycle. And just like there's a difference in us, there's a difference in animals. But that doesn't separate us from being alive. It does not separate us from being. So we have to come to being in tune with nature again. Not thinking that we sit so high in these ivory towers that these castles can be broken down, that wind cannot blow down stone or steel, or the volcanoes cannot burn it to the ground. The waters will not sink our cities, and the earth will not swallow us whole, or spirit just won't take us and show us what we really are, it. Remember that we are one with nature. One by one, we are together, we fall together, or we will rise together. The choice is up to us. So I love y'all once again. Thank you so much for being you.